His wife is insanely gorgeous, even top-tier celebrities. Completely pale in comparison next to her. Honestly, the word goddess was literally invented just for her. You might wonder why she is not an actress. But she simply does not care. She belongs to one of the country's top ultra-wealthy families with a net worth of hundreds of billions and massive global influence. But lately, she is completely stressed out because our main character is divorcing her. At first, everyone called him crazy. They said marrying her is not just securing the bag, it is a lifetime jackpot. Who in their right mind would walk away from an effortless, ultra-rich lifestyle like that? But once he explained the real reason, they just looked at him with pure sympathy. They silently patted his shoulder and walked away. No more questions asked. Back when his wife Shen Youran was 23, her grandfather fell terminally ill. With his days numbered, the old man had one major regret. His favorite granddaughter had never even had a boyfriend. He just wanted to see her get married before he passed away. Honestly, Shen Youran was so distant that people literally rumored she did not like men. She was the ultimate ice queen, cold to absolutely everyone, including her own parents, but she deeply loved her grandfather and would do anything for him. See, while other girls were busy playing with toys, she was already tagging along with her parents to massive business meetings and elite corporate banquets. That upbringing turned her into a brilliant, sharp-eyed business prodigy. She is ruthless, decisive, and always looking for the next big play. For her, everything is about maximizing profit, even marriage. So what does she do? She literally holds a massive audition to find a husband. No romance, no feelings, she just wants to recruit the absolute best candidate. Our main character's roommate dragged him along, ignoring the fact that our boy already had a girlfriend. The roommate insisted that having a girlfriend made him the perfect wingman. Otherwise, a tall, handsome, athletic guy like him would easily steal all the spotlight. Talk about a total backfire waiting to happen. But he is not just a pretty face. Our boy boasts a massive 148 IQ. That is his real flex. Even before finishing university, he was already running advanced lab experiments alongside his professors. When they arrived, the venue was packed with top-tier male idols and handsome influencers of every type imaginable. He looked at his very average roommate and asked if he really wanted to humiliate himself. The roommate shrugged. Hey, you never know unless you shoot your shot. What if she actually likes average guys? Our boy just rolled his eyes. He joked that he loved his roommate's absolute shamelessness. His persistence. With that, he headed straight for the high-end buffet area. Talk about high IQ moves, his first priority was stuffing his face with expensive seafood and finding where the free party favors were. He did not care about the audition at all. It was just a free meal. The guys there were elite, either filthy rich or insanely good-looking. His roommate stood absolutely zero chance, but things are about to get wild. Basically, he's barely entry-level. If he gets chosen, the odds are pretty much zero. Honestly, getting struck by lightning is more likely. But suddenly, round one ends. Turns out, Shen Youran was watching from above. She instantly weeds out anyone who isn't up to par. No surprise, the roommate gets folded, but as our guy tries to leave, several massive bodyguards block his path. One steps up. You made the cut, sir. You can't leave yet. Our boy's completely speechless, utterly bewildered. The bodyguard in the black suit bows and confirms it. Yes, sir, it's you! His roommate's face is pure comedy right now, patting his shoulder. Hey, why don't you head back first? I'm just staying for another free buffet. Just tell my girlfriend Shan that I only came here to keep you company. I'll probably just throw the next round anyway, since I've been freeloading off you for 2 years. The remaining contestants get checked into a luxury 5-star hotel. Phones are taken, just sleep and eat. Absolute paradise. But on day 5, they get moved to a giant private estate. Our boy notices only about 20 guys are left standing. Wait, he actually advanced again? Seriously, how is this broke student pulled into this? Over those 5 days, the powerful Shen family did a complete background check. Any playboys with messy personal lives or shady pasts were immediately kicked out of the competition. Who would have thought a broke, ordinary college student would make it to the finals? Live here for a month. That's the final test, to observe their daily habits, because anyone can fake it for a day. But over 30 days, their real, unfiltered personalities are bound to slip through. His routine? Incredibly simple. First, he's just a student. Second, too broke to afford partying. Since he couldn't afford a wild lifestyle, his days were spent studying, working out, and doing chores for his roommates, plus hanging out with his girlfriend. He just reads, exercises, and cleans. Talk about a model citizen. A month flies by, and suddenly he's ushered into a car heading to the registry office. Out of nowhere, the gorgeous Shen Youran grabs his arm and drags him inside. She acts like they're already married, leaving him completely stunned. What is going on? Shen Youran deadpans. Congratulations, you won the selection, so we're getting married right now. She pulls him straight toward the registration desk. Stumbling along, our guy finally manages to wrench his hand free. Are you kidding? I have a girlfriend. I only came here to support my buddy. You guys have the wrong guy. She just hands him a phone, coldly stating that he doesn't have a girlfriend anymore. No friends, no college projects, it's all officially history. She basically tells him to stay in his lane at home and keep things tidy. But then he opens a video on her phone, and it is his own girlfriend. She is snuggled right next to some famous male idol, acting super cozy. She whines, "Lin Huan, let us break up." She claims she is with her new guy now, and Miss Shen gave her massive cash. She even promised to help her debut. Then she clings to the idol. They make out passionately. Lin Huan just glares in rage. Shen Youran just sneers. What are you glaring at? Am I not 10,000 times better? Honestly, her boss energy is so insane it completely overwhelms him into getting that marriage certificate. Everyone is low-key jealous of his new wealthy lifestyle. But to him, it is basically a golden cage. They immediately throw a massive grand wedding while her grandfather is still fully conscious. On their wedding night, she reveals her crazy germophobia. First, she sanitizes his entire body, then shoves him into a steam room. Finally, after literally scrubbing his entire body raw with a harsh brush, she lets him near. Worse, if his hand touches anything else, he cannot touch her again. During the entire physical session, he has to keep that dirty hand raised high. Keep it far away. She has an angelic face, but this ridiculous setup completely kills his vibe. Mood ruined. But guess what happens the next morning? She hires master chefs from the East and West to teach him cooking. Forget the zero honeymoon, she is making a genius with a 148 IQ chop onions. Soon he is a master chef, but then she forces him to learn landscaping. Makeup, hairstyling, and wine brewing are next. Then she adds luxury fashion coordination, fabric care, and professional full-body massage therapy. Throw in pet training, advanced driving, car repairs, and then combat sports like Sanda. Taekwondo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and boxing. Is she training a butler or a walking cheat code? She probably wants to lay off the entire security team and household staff. Later, at a high-end party, he spots a world boxing champion. He gets a sudden urge to fight him. He realizes he is built different now. 5 years of marriage fly by fast. His days are packed from making breakfast at dawn to midnight duties. The routine ends, but he still has to clean up. She hates any mess. By year 2 and year 4, they have 2 sons. Both babies are instantly taken away. Seeing them only on holidays makes him a total stranger to his own kids. They are closer to their nannies. With a cold expression, she asks if he still wants to work. A powerful city planning official is visiting the office today. She wants him to receive her, but he has met this official before. She is a 6-foot-tall female executive with broad shoulders and a terrifying face. He ran into her at a party once, and she was clearly wasted. The moment she saw him, she clung on. Back then, he had 0 martial arts. He was totally defenseless back then and got taken advantage of quite a bit. And the worst part, Shen Youran just stood there watching like he was a total stranger. Since he has to entertain this big boss today, it is time for some payback. Maybe seeing the fire in his eyes, Shen Youran warns him to entertain them well. Getting a few high-value developments approved next to their real estate sites is key. All it takes is one word from this boss, then she drives him over. They arrive at a luxury restaurant, completely ignoring the female boss staring at him. With hungry eyes, Shen Youran claims she is busy and leaves without looking back.
But honestly, our guy is not some helpless lamb waiting to be slaughtered anymore.
The female boss is actually pretty chill, so he wraps an arm around her shoulder.
He warmly calls her big sister, saying he has missed her so much.
He jokes that nobody leaves sober today, which catches the female boss off guard.
She laughs and brags that if it is drinking, he will need backup to win.
Our boy playfully challenges her, saying he is not backing down from that. They instantly down a bottle of hard liquor and 2 bottles of wine each. Both of them end up under the table and he wakes up at home. The first thing he sees is Shen Youran looking incredibly pissed, a familiar sight. This never means anything good. Shen Youran demands to know what happened yesterday. Why did he get the female boss completely hammered? When she dragged them out from under the table, they were crying to become sworn siblings. He rubs his eyes, staring back with a dead serious face. He asks her if he had not drunk her under the table, what then? Or did she send him there on purpose, knowing what would happen? The usually bossy Shen Youran turns away, completely unable to look him in the eyes. Defensively, she stammers that a female boss could not do anything to him. As a man, he cannot lose anything. Besides, if she doesn't care, why should he? If he cannot even do this, then what is he even good for? For the first time, he actually hears some guilt in her toxic voice.
He shakes his head bitterly. Sure, the great President Shen does not care at all. He works from 6 a.m. until midnight daily. Seriously, how is that slacking off?
Since he has never spoken back before, she glares at him with pure anger. She demands to know why he complains about doing simple maid and bodyguard chores. Especially when she gives him so much cash, luxury gifts, and expensive sports cars.
But he cannot spend that money, and he is banned from driving those cars.
What is the point of giving them then? But she just cuts him off. Impatiently, she snaps that she has been far too nice to him lately. He seems to have forgotten his place in this house, so he must reflect today. If he thinks the credit cards and luxury cars mean nothing, fine. She is cutting him off completely. With that, she storms out of the room.
Staring at her back, he starts reflecting on their 5 years of marriage.
To outsiders, he is the lucky son-in-law of the wealthy Shen family. But only he knows the truth. Back in college, his brilliant research projects could have easily given him an incredibly successful and independent life. Instead, he's trapped like a caged dog, guarding her house every single day,
doing endless chores while desperately trying to please his abusive masters.
Honestly, watching this make me so mad. Why is he living like this?
Honestly, all his hard work only moved himself, while to them, it was just expected.
Starting that day, he finally stopped grinding 24/7. No more running around like a servant after wasting so many years of his life. Luckily, he actually had some decent savings stashed away, so he bought a basic car. Now he is out from dawn to dusk, catching up with old friends over beers. Or he is just fishing and playing sports. By the time he heads home, Shen Youran is already fast asleep since her personal schedule is incredibly strict. Talk about a disciplined final boss, so he never bothers to wake her up. He just crashes in another bedroom. Honestly, once you let go of the past, he feels like a completely brand new man, no longer constantly stressing over having zero time for himself. He used to literally run everywhere, but now he is actually smiling and living his best life. With his happy smile finally back, he decides to get back in touch with his former college professor. He asks to join their research team again, and they happily agree to take him back. They know how insanely talented he is, and he lives comfortably like this for an entire month. But one night, he gets back late and finds Shen Youran still sitting on the sofa. Normally, she would be fast asleep by now, and even the housemaids have gone to bed. He casually asks why she's still awake, then heads straight to his own bedroom without even pausing. Shen Youran is breathing heavily and absolutely fuming, acting like she is some kind of victim. She demands to know if he is done throwing his tantrum by staying out all day. She demands to know if he thinks this house is a hotel and if he even respects his wife. He completely ignores her drama, opens his door, and walks straight inside. Just as he expected, her massive pride keeps her from chasing after him. For someone that arrogant, her speaking first was already a total miracle. Over the next few days, things get so hectic at the lab that he just crashes in the dorms.
On his very first night away from home, his loud phone ringtone blasts him awake early the next morning.
Half asleep, he answers only to realize it is none other than Shen Youran calling. Her voice sounds surprisingly calm, but he can easily hear her tense and heavy breathing over the line. She coldly snaps that he is getting pretty brave now that he dares to stay out all night. Impatiently, he asks if she actually has something to say because he is way too busy for her right now. He has no time for nonsense, which immediately sends her into pure rage. She screams at his attitude, but he just mutters that she is literally crazy.
Then he just hangs up, because honestly, who cares if her family has massive power and connections? After all, he is at a top-tier national university, working in a highly protected research lab. Since they handle major national government projects, he is not worried at all about her making a move.
And since she already woke him up, he cannot seem to fall back asleep anyway.
After brushing his teeth and getting ready, he heads down to grab breakfast.
Before heading to the lab, but the moment he steps downstairs, he spots Shen Youran waiting right there, but he pretends she does not exist. Keeping his head down, he tries to slip away, but only makes it a few steps. Before Shen Youran grabs him tightly by the wrist, coldly demanding to know why he stayed out all night. She mocks him for pretending not to see her, asking if he thinks he is safe just because he stopped spending her cash. Hiding out at school, thinking she has absolutely no way to deal with him anymore. He knows her way too well. Since she is threatening him, she definitely has a plan. Since there is no point in picking a fight, he tries to keep his cool. It will only hurt him anyway, so he calmly explains that he has been insanely busy with work lately. His research project is at a critical stage, which is why he could not make it home.
Our guy gets asked why he is staying at the dorms. Is something wrong?
Before he can even answer, a messenger rushes in saying there is a massive emergency. Without explaining, the guy literally drags him into a car, rushing straight to headquarters.
Turns out their company got hit by foreign hackers, completely paralyzing the entire network.
Their in-house tech guys are completely useless, and honestly, this is not even his specialty. So he immediately calls in backup. I mean, his university is practically crawling with top-tier geniuses, so one call is enough. His senior shows up with an elite team, and within a few hours, problem solved. Shen Youran pays them a fat reward alongside some crazy expensive gifts. Honestly, he used to clean up her messes like this all the time. But right as he tries to leave, she calls him back. Shen Youran demands that he stay to grab lunch with her. He asks his senior to tag along, but the guy just smiles and politely declines. Wise choice. They head to a luxury hotel with Shen Youran leading the way. She doesn't even look at the menu, effortlessly ordering her usual high-end dishes. She clearly eats here a lot, looking just as elegant and cold as always. Even in a fancy place like this, literally every guest in the room is staring at her. The food arrives. She gives him a quiet look. She softly asks how it tastes, so our boy takes a bite. He shrugs, saying it is all right, pretty much the same as his own cooking. Actually, his food is way better. Surprisingly, her voice drops to a rare, gentle tone. She quietly mentions that ever since he left, she has been eating here every day. She got so used to his food that nothing else tastes right. This place is the only one that is even close, but he just stays quiet. He keeps stuffing his face because he skipped breakfast. He is completely ignoring her, which immediately annoys her. She puts down her chopsticks, barely touching her expensive meal before quitting entirely. With a sharp warning tone, she tells him to quit while he's ahead. She says her patience is limited, but he snaps right back. He just saved her entire company, and a cheap lunch is supposed to make them even? Talk about a massive ego. This completely triggers her, and she starts stuttering in pure anger. She stutters that he never used to be like this, but he calmly sets boundaries. He does not want her money or her things, he just wants a normal life. Honestly, those miserable house husband days, he is done with that. She is smart, so he doesn't need to spell it out. But she flat out says no. She says the Shen family has strict rules, and his job is unacceptable. If word gets out to their social circle, her family's precious reputation is ruined. She stands up, giving him a freezing look, and coldly says he has 3 days. He needs to wrap things up and crawl back home, or else she leaves the threat hanging. Obviously, whatever she is planning next is not going to be a fun time.
But watching her walk away, he does not care about her empty threats. He is not easily scared, and if he just chills inside the campus, what can she do?
Ain't no way she is gonna storm a university dorm just to kidnap him back. After finishing his meal, he buys some basic daily essentials for his room.
He never gets time to go out anyway, so he heads back to his dorm. 3 days fly by in a flash since he is completely buried in his lab work.
He does not even think about the situation until lunch one day. The senior colleague who helped him at Shen Youran's company bursts into his office looking panicked.
The guy desperately begs Lin, "Look, I really need a massive favor." He says his daughter just called because she got hurt playing at a construction site. Unable to go, he asks Lin to check on her. Lin agrees and navigates to the spot. But arriving there, things feel off. It is just a bunch of abandoned buildings. The place is completely ruined, with every valuable window and door already stripped clean. A trap. He has to run. But the moment he turns around, a dozen massive thugs completely surround him. They close in, telling him to return. They mockingly add that couples fight, but he cannot just refuse to go home forever. The speaker is Hu Biao, Shen Yuran's head of security, a massive, towering brute. Thick neck, bloated head, hideous face. Lin tries to play along, telling them he will head back tonight for dinner. He even promises to buy her favorite dishes because he supposedly misses her so much. Lin fake laughs. Nobody is buying it. Hu Biao sneers, saying they all know Lin is extremely smart. But don't play us for fools. He gives Lin a choice, walk out peacefully or get dragged out. Make your choice. He signals his men to close the gap, showing the same impatience as Shen Youran. Zero patience. Lin takes off his jacket. He stretches, ready to fight. Hu Biao laughs, realizing the young master actually wants to fight them. Shen Youran ordered them to keep him in one piece. With a sharp command, they rush. But get this, Lin is built different, and he starts folding these guards like laundry. Screams echo. Lin absolutely trashes Hu Biao. Terrified, the bruised leader quickly pulls out his phone to call Shen Youran. Hanging up, his confidence returns. He yells to his men that their boss gave them permission to go wild. Just bring him back breathing. Suddenly, every guard whips out tactical batons. Now things are getting real. Every time Lin tries to strike, multiple steel batons brutally smash into his limbs. He gets overwhelmed and finally surrenders. He knows when to retreat, but Hu Biao is completely blinded by rage. These thugs only know how to bully. Getting beaten up by a young master is a massive blow to their pride. Hu Biao sneers that their boss ordered them to teach Lin a lesson. He orders them to keep swinging, shattering both of Lin's arms. They drag his broken body home, but Shen Youran is nowhere to be found. As soon as he steps inside, her private medical team is already waiting inside, immediately patching him up. His arms are completely in casts, and the doctor orders 3 months of bed rest. Absolutely no moving allowed, so they end up hiring a young nurse to take care of him. That night, Shen Youran comes home. Seeing him lying in bed, she stops. But for a split second, he actually catches a flash of genuine pain on her face. It vanishes in a blink of an eye, making him realize he definitely just imagined it. She coldly tells him, "I warned you, but you just refused to listen. If you did not resist my men when they tried to bring you back, you would not be suffering." Shen Youran says so, handing a warm food container over to the young nurse. The wife mentions she ordered some fancy, nutritious meal from a high-end hotel. Since he is currently injured, eating light food is best, so feed him now. As the nurse feeds him bite by bite, he realizes he is now completely done with Shen Youran forever. He looks at her like a total stranger, knowing his primary focus is just recovering his broken body first. Our boy does not want to act dramatic and finishes every single bite of the food while his cold wife silently watches him. But he does not give her a single glance, keeping his attitude ice cold. She does not push him further, simply instructing the nurse to take really good care of him before walking out. The nurse is named Su Xinyan, and trust me, she is an absolute breath of fresh air. She was hired by the Shen family this year and is quite tall. Her face is incredibly pure. Honestly, she looks exactly like the absolute definition of every guy's legendary first love. Once the anesthesia wears off, the severe pain in his 2 arms becomes absolutely brutal to deal with. But seeing her sweet smile and pure face somehow makes the agonizing pain fade away.
Su Xinyan is extremely good at taking care of people and knows exactly how to pamper him.
Not only is she gorgeous, but her voice is super soothing too. Plus, she is in the prime of her youth, giving off a very energetic and lively vibe that warms his heart. Since his arms are totally broken, she helps him bathe and handles every single daily task for him. He quickly realizes they actually vibe so well and can easily talk about literally anything for hours without ever getting bored. Making her laugh is easy, and honestly, comparison is just brutal. On one side, you have this wonderful girl caring for you meticulously with endless sweet conversations every day.
Meanwhile, there is a cold wife who constantly looks at you like you owe her millions.
Thinking about this comparison makes his chest tighten with a heavy wave of sadness.
His cold wife of 6 years cannot even show him basic warmth like this new nurse does. Now Shen Youran starts bringing him expensive little gifts every single day she returns home. But our boy completely ignores them, treating her incredibly expensive gifts like they are nothing but absolute trash. He does not want to speak to her. Then, one afternoon, he wakes up from a nap.
Someone is gently massaging his shoulders, and he automatically assumes it is Su Xinyan helping him out.
He asks, "Hey Shenyan, what do you want for dinner? My right hand is recovering pretty well."
"I will cook you my first comeback dish tonight." But there is absolutely no response from her.
Suddenly, the pressure on his shoulders tightens significantly. He asks why she is so quiet. He wonders if she is upset about something and gently tells her to take a break first.
Offering to make her some delicious food, he plans to take her to the aquarium this afternoon for a fun stroll. He asks as he turns around to get out of bed, but then he suddenly freezes in pure shock.
The massive shock almost makes him lose his balance, but he quickly tries to steady himself naturally. His voice shakes as he asks why she is home in the middle of the day. The person massaging him is indeed his wife, Shen Youran, and her face looks extremely pale and upset.
There are tears glistening in her eyes, though he highly doubts she would ever actually cry for him.
After all, he only ever saw her cry once before, and that was back at her grandfather's funeral.
She sneers right away, asking if her presence is disturbing them since they are calling each other Xinyan so intimately.
Shen Youran looks absolutely furious, her face twisting as she tightly clenches her fists.
Honestly, she looks ready to completely fold anyone who gets in her way. At this point, the husband decides he has absolutely nothing left to lose. Both of his arms were literally broken by her goons, and she did not even care.
So what if he treats the only nurse who actually cares about him nicely? He glares right back.
He looks her dead in the eye and tells Shen Youran that he is completely done. He demands a divorce. Hearing this, Shen Youran freezes.
Her mind goes totally blank, like she just got hit by a bolt of lightning.
It is not that she actually loves him. She is just shocked he had the balls to dump her. After a long, tense silence, she asks if he is seriously doing this for a little nurse.
She screams, demanding to know how she is any worse than some random hospital staff.
This villain is finally breaking down, completely losing her mind and screaming at him.
As an insanely proud woman, she has never allowed herself to lose to anyone. So having her husband leave her for a nurse is the ultimate blow to her ego.
He slowly steps closer, ready to lay all his cards on the table.
He asks her if she honestly thinks this is just about another woman.
Does she really believe he wants a divorce because of Su Xinyan after all these years? He asks if she ever treated him like a husband, considering he was a top national researcher.
With an IQ of 148, he mastered dozens of domestic chores just for her. He practically locked himself indoors for years, catering to her every single whim.
But did she ever show him any affection or even give him a kind look? When he got sick from catching rain for her, she treated him like a biohazard.
She literally locked him in isolation for over a month because of her extreme germophobia. He had to scrub his entire body with a harsh brush before they could even be intimate.
She forced him into humiliating positions every single time, treating him like an object. She was even willing to sell him out to some business leader for her company's profit. What kind of sick marriage is this after 6 long years of misery? He got no warmth from this home, and when he stepped out just to clear his head,
she literally had her goons break both his arms, bone by bone. He is
terrified of her.
He's terrified, truly terrified. He is scared she will straight up kill him one day if she gets annoyed enough.
He begs her to just let him go, his voice full of desperation. Honestly, seeing him swallow his pride just to beg for his life is heartbreaking. She panics, crying that she only kept him locked up so he would not have to work. She genuinely believed that feeding him well at home was better than any life outside. She bursts into tears, desperately hugging him and trying to sound as gentle as possible. She actually thought he would be grateful, which makes him let out a bitter laugh. He asks why she thinks a brilliant scientist would be satisfied with being treated like a pet. He can easily afford anything he wants with the major national projects he runs. Sure, he did not go to an office, but he had to wake up at 6 every morning. He was doing chores until midnight, which is 10 times more exhausting than his actual research. The fancy cars and money she bragged about giving him, he could not even leave the house. The credit cards are untouched in her room, and those cars are probably rusting in the garage. In the end, he got absolutely nothing out of this marriage except a body covered in scars. At this point, Lin finally snaps, venting every single bit of trauma he endured for years. He is crying his eyes out, but he does not stop. It is low-key satisfying finally getting this off his chest. Shen finally realizes how much Lin sacrificed while getting absolutely nothing in return. This completely shatters Shen's reality, turning his whole world upside down. He clings to Lin, desperately begging for forgiveness over and over. Shen is literally shaking, the exact same way he did when his grandfather passed away. He collapses in tears, but Lin is done with it and pushes him away. Lin wipes his face, then gives Shen a freezing, lifeless stare. He tells Shen that if he is actually sorry, he should just let him go. Lin cannot stand this house for another second. He heads for the exit. Shen just stands there, face buried in his hands, crying too hard to move. Back in his room, Lin grabs nothing but his own personal bank card. It has got enough of his own hard-earned cash to last a lifetime. He leaves everything else behind, walks out of the Shen estate, and immediately calls his school. They are super chill about it and tell him he can return once he heals up. So Lin checks into a hotel to recover, but by the third afternoon, a knock at the door. He assumes it is just food delivery. But opening it, absolutely wild. A dozen guys are out there in wheelchairs. All of their limbs are completely broken, and leading them is none other than Hu Biao. The moment Hu Biao sees Lin, he literally slides out of his wheelchair to crawl. Besides his broken limbs, the dude is black and blue from head to toe. He starts begging, calling Lin his savior, his brother, literally his actual father. This dude begs Lin to forgive him since he paid a brutal price. If Lin does not forgive him, he is dead meat, so he keeps slamming his head. Lin just sighs. He forgives them and tells them to beat it. He obviously knows who ordered the beatdown, but he is done with all the drama. All he wants is zero ties with Shen. The next morning, Lin is brushing his teeth. When another knock sounds, he makes sure it is hotel staff before opening up. Just a waitress, accompanied by the hotel manager. They greet him with maximum energy, treating him like absolute royalty. Apparently, his current room needs renovations, so they have to upgrade him. Lin is pretty laid back, so he does not mind moving at all. A room is a room, right? The staff packs his bags immediately. But when they bring him up to the top floor, Lin is stunned. This is literally a massive presidential suite, and Lin knows luxury when he sees it. He has traveled enough on business to recognize high-class living when he sees it. The manager bows, apologizing for the inconvenience of moving him. He claims this upgrade is just a gesture of their sincere apology. Lin can barely keep a straight face. This has Shen's name written all over it. Well, might as well enjoy it, as long as Shen stays away. Free luxury living is free luxury living, and then come the daily meals. Staff roll in carts, serving gourmet, high-end dishes right to his table. No way Lin is letting this 5-star food go to waste. He rejected Shen Youran's black card, but free hotel luxury, he is absolutely taking it. Our guy is low-key regretting it now since he never even checked how much cash was on that card. But honestly, it is probably some astronomical amount because she was always pretty generous to him. By day 3, a few more doctors show up and 2 of them look way too familiar.
They are literally from the Shen family's elite private medical team, and after giving our boy a full checkup,
turns out his recovery is going great, absolutely healthy.
No overexerting, but normal life is totally back on track.
When they leave, he grabs one of them. He whispers, asking why Su Xinyan did not show up, but the doc just gives an awkward laugh and stays quiet.
Then, boom! On day 4, the legendary Shen Youran herself shows up, and he has to open the door and let her in.
She is totally back to her Ice Queen CEO mode, looking like the absolute peak Azure Dragon goddess again.
She looks incredibly gorgeous, wearing the exact style of makeup he always loved doing for her back in the day. But honestly, she looks kinda off, completely exhausted.
She steps inside without saying a single word, walking straight to the middle of the room.
She scans the room with a slight frown.
Clearly dissatisfied, she tells him she is sending help tomorrow.
She wants to install entertainment setups and asks him what kind of games he likes.
While speaking, she suddenly hugs our boy from behind, resting her chin right on his shoulder.
She breathes warmly against his ear, whispering to him in this incredibly soft voice.
He tries squirming away, but he's too weak to break free.
He immediately asks about the divorce, wanting absolutely nothing.
He just wants to leave with his salary card, and the second he says this, her entire body suddenly stiffens.
Her breathing grows heavy, and she remarks that even after all these days, he still has not given up on leaving. She tells him straight up, "Husband, I am never divorcing you, and I came here today for a reason."
She really just wants to open up and tell him everything about her past, and through her story,
he finally understands that even though she is the powerful eldest daughter of the elite Shen family,
and looks completely untouchable, like a queen worshipped by everyone in high society, she actually carries some dark, hidden family trauma. Turns out, both of her parents came from ultra-wealthy backgrounds.
A business marriage, absolutely zero love.
Honestly, it is wild. Her mom literally lives with her own first-love boyfriend on the side. Her dad is worse, messing around with different women daily.
No wonder Shen Youran was so completely against the idea of marriage before she met our boy. That is why she never even had a boyfriend despite being born into this ultra-rich elite family. Growing up, her grandfather was literally the only person who actually showed her any real love. Both parents had their own side families and hated each other. This meant she, the legitimate daughter, was treated way worse than the random illegitimate kids, which is just insane. She learned early on never to rely on anyone.
Only money, power, and her career could be trusted. Basically, she treated every relationship like a transaction, using people for what they were worth. To her, kindness was just currency. She only gave it if you were useful, and vice versa. Up until they got married, she genuinely believed this cold worldview was completely correct.
Love only slows down her cash flow, right? But hey, humans are not programmed machines.
Nobody is a solid block of ice forever. Our boy took care of her with absolute devotion, which slowly, without her even realizing,
showed her what real warmth actually feels like. Because no matter how late she worked,
there was always someone waiting with a hot bowl of soup and a light left on.
Whenever he felt stressed about work, someone was there to hold him.
To comfort him, support him, and celebrate every single win together. Having that kind of family warmth feels normal while you have it. But the moment you lose it, the emptiness hits different. Coming home after a brutal day at work, the silence is deafening. The hired help do not really care. They just ask what he needs.
No one is waiting up to hand him a warm bowl of soup. He is left staring at the ceiling, completely alone with his stress. Even for a genius like him, the helplessness is real.
When good things happen, he can only celebrate by staring at an empty yard. His grandpa is gone, and his parents are nowhere near.
He cannot exactly celebrate with the maids. His proud personality would never allow it. So while she was gone, she realized he missed her every single day.
That is just how human nature works. The more you miss someone, the more you romanticize them, and she finally admits she thinks of his warmth daily.
She confesses she cannot live without him, her eyes filled with absolute sincerity.
He knows she is telling the truth, since she is far too proud
to ever fake emotions to please him, yet hearing this does not move him. He just stares back with total coldness, telling her there is zero warmth
left in his memories from their 6 years of marriage.
The only good memory was their son being born, holding that tiny baby, who was so soft, making him feel like a real dad for the first time. But when the baby turned just 1 month old, her father snatched him away.
Saying he would infect the baby with his poor background? Bro, that is insane.
Honestly, since he left her, the only thing he has felt is pure relief. He is never going back, and he just wants her to let him go. Back then, he truly loved her, but if he had only cared about money and acted like a paid servant, she would have never felt his warmth. The light in Shen Yuran's eyes completely fades as he speaks. She bitter smiles, shaking her head, admitting she always believed wealth and power were the ultimate things worth chasing in this world. She thought throwing enough compensation at him would fix everything, but she was wrong. Still, she refuses to divorce him, promising she will win his heart back. With that, she leaves in tears, and from that day on,
Shen Youran never tries to use her status to threaten him again.
She even donates $20 million in equipment and funding to his university lab,
setting up a private kitchen just for his research team, with a personal chef cooking daily and her visiting every few days, joking with his colleagues that he is young and needs extra care. The change in her is real. She is no longer that ice queen.
She actually chats happily with everyone, but here is the thing.
He has zero interest in returning to his old life. His heart belongs to someone else. And that is Su Xingyan, the girl who stayed by his side when he was hurt. Her gentle, selfless care slowly melted his frozen heart.
Now, whenever he looks at Shen Youran,
whenever he tried to bring up the divorce, she would just stay completely silent. Instead, she'd quietly take out the food she'd brought and set it on the table.
Or she would try to dress him in clothes she bought, but he'd just dump all the food in the trash. He would throw her clothes and gifts right on the floor, leaving her crying hysterically as she ran away. Since it had been a while since he last saw Su Qingyan, once off work, he subconsciously drove straight to her apartment building, only to find Su Xingyan standing outside, like she was waiting for him.
He hurriedly checked the car mirror to fix his hair and tidy his clothes. He got out and ran toward her. But then, boom. Another guy beat him to the punch, throwing his arms right around her as our MC rubbed his eyes. Turns out it was actually a pretty good-looking young dude, and he was holding her super tight in a warm embrace.
Our guy could hear every single sweet word they whispered to each other.
Even though he was standing right next to them, they didn't notice him at all. Feeling completely defeated, he slowly slouched back to his car and buried his face in the steering wheel to process his emotions.
Talk about bad timing. He was literally about to confess, only to find out she already had a boyfriend. Suddenly, a voice startled him out of his mind.
He turned to see Shen Youran sitting in the passenger seat, having sneaked in without him noticing. He was completely speechless, leaning back on the wheel as she asked him why he even liked that nurse. How is she even in your league? Shen Yuan's voice suddenly rose with intense anger, filled with fury and jealousy, but our guy just softly whispered that maybe she was just too good to him.
He hadn't felt anyone show him that kind of genuine warmth in a really long time.
He whispered to himself, only now realizing as he looked back at everything.
It was honestly just her professional standard as a private nurse, and with that, the entire car felt dead silent.
The only sound left was their synchronized breathing, until suddenly a pair of soft hands pulled him tightly into a warm, desperate embrace, repeatedly rubbing his back, trying to comfort him while she sobbed. She wept that it was all her fault, admitting he had given her all of his love and warmth, only to be met with her cold distance, but she swore she never wanted them to hurt him. She insisted it wasn't on her orders, and that she only told them to bring him back safely. When her men asked for instructions, she only told them to tie him up if he refused to cooperate. She cried out, begging him to believe she never told them to break his arm.
Our MC just stared blankly at the hysterically sobbing Shen Youran, feeling absolutely nothing.
He coldly asked why her people even dared to touch him. Isn't it because they knew he was completely worthless and insignificant in her heart anyway? Even if they physically broke him, they knew all they needed was a quick excuse to get off free. He pushed her away, breaking out of her desperate embrace. With cold determination in his voice, he said, "Shen Youran, let's get a divorce." He swore that he would never step foot back into that toxic house ever again.
If she still had even a shred of genuine feeling left for him, she would just set him free. He practically begged her, but she just turned away.
With her face completely hidden, she coldly muttered that if he truly wanted a divorce from her, it would only happen over her dead body before walking away. For the next few days, our guy was walking around like a zombie, and even his lab supervisor could tell he was totally out of it. So they gave him some extra time off to just rest and clear his mind at a local hotel. After finally getting some proper sleep, he went out to grab some fresh ingredients for a hot pot night.
But just as he opened his car door,
a massive blow hit the back of his head, knocking him out cold until he finally opened his eyes. Our boy wakes up on a sketchy, abandoned rooftop, only to realize he was snatched by Hua Biao. The fired thug and his crew snatched him while he was out cold. Oh, they definitely beat him half to death. But he is not tied up. Luckily, they do not notice he is awake, so he plays dead. Smart move. He tries keeping his eyes closed while Hu Biao calls Shen Youran. The villain laughs like a maniac, telling her that thanks to her, he is barely human anymore. Hu Biao warns her not to hang up. He has got a massive bone to pick, especially since she broke his limbs. Now he is broke and needs cash. Pausing, the thug claims he has got something valuable to trade in exchange. Your husband is currently sitting in my hands right now, he sneers, sending over a photo. He promises to keep the husband safe as long as she pays up, demanding she bring 100 million in cash, and she better come completely alone. No police or he dies. Talk about wife material. In less than 1 hour, Shen Youran drives right to the abandoned rooftop. She boldly confronts Hu Biao, asking if he actually understands the deadly consequences of his actions.
our boy keeps his eyes shut tightly.
He cannot see her face, but her raw fury vibrates through the air.
Her voice is literally trembling, which only makes Hui Biao laugh like a complete psychopath.
He asks who made him this way, bringing up his years of loyalty. All for accidentally breaking her husband's arm. He screams that she showed zero mercy, laughing like a madman.
She snaps back instantly.
Despite telling them not to hurt him, they brutally beat her husband anyway. Letting those thugs live was already her mercy, and now she demands they let him go. If they cooperate, she will not press charges, and their money is ready. Just take the car and leave. But Hu Biao just lets out a disgusting chuckle that is pure villain energy. They want the money. He says they want her too, sneering at her beauty. Threatening to leave them whole corpses, he orders his goons to grab her right now.
She screams at them to get their filthy hands off her.
Our boy cannot just lie there anymore. He snaps his eyes open, spots a metal baton nearby, and grabs it. Swinging hard, he cracks it straight over the leader's bald head in a brutal hit. The thug instantly collapses. During the brawl, our guy either kicks them off the roof or shatters their skulls. Talk about an absolute beatdown. He finishes them off and hugs his terrified wife. Once she finally collects her senses, he carries her all the way to the car. Cops show up, and he heads to the station to give his statement. Back home, Shen Youran is completely fine. She even whips up a massive feast, telling her husband to eat. Our guy just stares at her in pure shock, asking when she even learned how to cook. She softly says she spent his absence learning to cook, doing beauty and hairstyling, trying to change her entire lifestyle just for him.
She stares at him unblinkingly, asking if she can finally be the one to take care of him.
She is full of hope, but our MC stays quiet. Instead, he confronts her. How did she dare go to that dangerous place all by herself?
Those people are literal beasts and a bunch of desperate criminals.
Did she even think of the consequences? She just gently places his favorite big shrimp on his plate,
softly explaining that she never cared about the risks to herself, but the consequence of not going?
That was a nightmare she couldn't bear because she absolutely cannot lose him again. He is literally the only person in this entire cold world who ever made her feel genuinely warm and alive. Without him around, she was slipping back into that icy darkness. She begs him, "Husband, please don't leave me. I really can't live without you." He melts. He wraps his arms around her, hugging her back. Both of them are crying now. Later that night, as they finally lie in bed, she whispers about wanting another baby, and he reflexively reaches for the sanitizer.
But Shen Youran instantly snatches it and tosses it into the trash. Honestly, this growth is crazy.
It turns out letting go feels incredible, and even if his past life was a complete mess, he knows that from here on out, he and Shen Youran are gonna be happy together.